hold it. But we do balloons all the time. Nobody's
Yeah,
gonna hold you a note for
that's all
30
she's
years,
looking.
unless they're Wells Fargo.
Okay,
But so
it's really, and then we can certainly work through the rest of the pieces, but like, I think if, once you agree on those and we, we can, if we came to terms on those initial pieces, that she's like, I have to have a cash outlay because I'm continuing to carry this property on my credit. I want to be able to make some money off of this and I want to be able to use it.
so the 40 is just a random number. Why not 30? Is it just random?
Because she said no.
No, I get it, but is it random? Like, why not ask 50, for example, hypothetically? It's gonna take me a lot of years to recoup that. Not only, but I really don't care because my strategy is what? Hold it for the long term. I'm not looking to flip. Does that make sense? But okay, yeah. I was just curious on how. What do you think about the concept? And then I was gonna go somewhere with it. So finish your talk.
No, listen, I had another creative financing offer. We didn't
Okay.
like it.
Okay.
Because
Why is that?
so for her, it is $20,000 down is just not enough money for this property. She
Okay.
felt she wasn't comfortable with that number.
Okay.
And that was our biggest bogey. It was a 5 year,
Mhm.
20K down.
Mhm.
It was very, very light, and they wouldn't send, at least you guys would send me your full contract when you made an offer so that I could see what's going on, because it's not just the first 5 lines for me. Remember, I'm a realtor. Right. So like, it is the full contract and the terms, because I'm going to protect her all the way through. This is my second year. Like, I'm going to watch her. So I'm going to watch what she signs, and if I don't like the terminology, and then we retain an attorney at Berkshire, so because these are contracts I'm not familiar with, I meet with our attorney and I go through them to make sure I'm doing the right thing for her, because I would never want her to lose a property or sign something that wasn't in her best interest. So we felt like
As you should, yeah.
was a little light.
Okay. So was it an investor that made her that offer, or a homestead buyer? An investor. Okay, got it. This is not a property that she owns free and clear, correct?
Absolutely.
So she has a loan plus equity, or? Okay, got it. Okay. Got it.
She
Okay.
does have equity. Our appraisal was 402 on this house. She owns right around 250.
Mm.
So I sent them the details, and I was like, we're kind of at that point that, by the end of this week, we're gonna have to make some decisions. So I've tried to ramp up getting some people in front of her, because we need to move this one to move into something else.
Okay. Is she trying to deploy the funds to start a new project?
We have the funds for a new project, but it's like the dangling fruit of
For
this one and continue.
Okay.
It's not a smart strategy.
Okay.
It just isn't.
So what's the deal with this one on the cash offers? Is it everybody's offering you lower than the listing price, or what's the big deal?
Yeah, so the cash offers are coming from investors, and they're never going to pay anything close to full price. Period. Point blank.
Yeah, no, that's.
Yeah.
But you know why, right? Like
I get it.
even her, she would never buy a house retail. I mean, it wouldn't make sense.
No, that's not true, because
She would buy property
we're
retail.
gonna buy retail, but when we
How is she
flip it,
making money on
our
the retail?
ARV is, well, it's retail for current condition.
Right, as is. So I don't call
Retail
it.
based
Okay,
on
okay,
current
okay.
condition.
We might call it differently.
The
I call
ARV
it. Okay.
is almost 700,
Right.
so we can pay you 300, because our
Right.
ARV is gonna be 750, but this is how we have to finish.
That's everything that an investor does. Because what happens is with the regular homeowner, it's my house right now as is worth 400, but I want you to give me 700, which is retail after it's fixed up. An investor wouldn't do that, right? But even a fixed up house like this for an investor, which I'm sure she knows. I mean, I'm talking about for an investor, not a homestead buyer. You cannot flip this. It's already flipped. So the only thing you can do with this is to hold it as a 100%. Buy and hold. But even with that strategy for an investor, obviously, unless you Bill Gates' child, you have to go to a asset-based lender, get a 30-year fixed loan potentially. If you were to buy it cash, I'm talking, and buy it and hold it, right? So the lender will only lend you up to a certain amount. They're not lending you for retail. You gotta buy it at 70 to 75% max. Even if you were to use your own money and refinance later, but they won't lend you more than that. So that's why most investors will even come in here and say, okay, on a cash offer, I would offer you probably 75, 80% max, because that's the only loan they can get.
Sure.
Right? So, but on the creative finance route is like, I don't care about the price, because what I'm looking at is my ability to cash flow based on existing terms we're taking over.
Cash flow, and I'll tell you, at the end of 5 years, if this is already 402. You know it's going to be in 5 years. And the benefit is you're locking in. And so I talked to the other guy, and we're still talking because I was like, at the end of the day, you do a 5 year on this. You know what? You just locked in a price of 385 in Oakland City for 5 years. In 5 years, trust and believe, this property will be well above that.
Got it.
Because of what literally ride down this block. Like all of these, we should have sold it before because all of those were up for sale before. All of those at the corner have been redone. People are out walking at night with their kids.
By investors, all of them?
Yeah, okay. Literally some on the end of the street, and then these blocks over here go out here. They're flipping that one over here. The street behind, there's the street over here. The area.
Man, you know this neighborhood. Do you live around this neighborhood?
No, but when you have listings in the neighborhood,
you better show.
You gotta know it. So literally, I walk the neighborhood, I meet the neighbors, I farm it door to door.
Listen, I admire you. I've spoken to agents that had a license for 20 years. They don't know shit about the neighborhood. Which is crazy. Okay, it's crazy to me. But so mostly now here is homeowners. It's becoming like a homeowners area, right? Mostly.
It is, but like with the exception of rental. Right?
Okay, got it.
And then homeowner, like this man, his whole family's lived on this block.
Okay.
For like his family owned 4 houses on this block. He was literally, I was talking the other day, and I was like, well, he's in a rental like 15 years. He could have bought that house for $20,000 years ago and didn't. No joke. Like, that's what he probably got to think like 30 for that. These are all 30,000. Yeah.
Got it. Okay, so another thing is, which I'm gonna talk to him about the terms. I think today we have about 7 properties we're looking at.
Sure.
Right now we're highly focusing on buy and holds because of the market. I'm telling you, we buy a lot of properties on the market, right? And you'll see on Saturday I'll break down case studies for you. But I don't know the conversation, but like what you said for the offer, right? I mean, the paperwork typically for me, when I'm working with realtors, I'd rather they tell me what paperwork they want to use because every realtor is different. Okay. I'm not hung up on the paperwork because the terms is whatever we agree. Everything else is just disclosures. Let's say I'm taking over a loan. Sure. Obviously, it's staying on your name, so the language is just saying, hey, just so you're fully aware, I'm not paying it off. It's not coming on my credit. So it's a lot of disclosures. But everything else, we have to type it in because it's something we agree between us and the seller. Yeah. Now, typically, instead of me coming in and saying, hey, this is what I can offer, for me to be able not only to help, because obviously you get paid even on the creative same way as cash, but also for the seller, I'd rather understand what you're trying to accomplish, because we can have 5 to 6 different ways to help them accomplish that. If I have to come in and start guessing, okay, does the seller need 50, or does she need 40, or does she need 20, then I'm just guessing. I'm just swinging in the dark, hoping that it's going to stick. But if I know from the agent, hey, listen to me, my seller, this is what they're trying to accomplish. They're trying to buy potentially, like I just bought a property, like the property just appraised for $580. The seller owed about like $430 on it. FHA loan, we just took over the loan, leave it in place. They just bought it like 1 year ago, okay? So the seller was like, you know what, the agent told me, this was from an agent, this is in Fulton. Okay. The agent told me, listen, my seller needs $20,000 because of a medical issue. But the property, obviously, if I take over at 430 and the property only appraised for 480, the reason they couldn't sell it is because they barely have any equity, right? Right, okay. And it's a brand new house, by the way. But because you told me that, now I can understand. She just got diagnosed with a cancer. I forgot how he called it, but they really need it. It's not that they want, they need the 20 grand. Plus he has to get paid. So I'm looking at it, okay, I have to bring in the 20 plus pay the agent $11,000, that's $30,000 plus the closing fees. And then because I'm not gonna keep it, like their monthly payment on that thing is $3,000. Because the FHA loan at 5%. Obviously right now everybody's getting, even if you have a freaking 690 credit score, you get lucky if you get any interest rate below 6%. So they have a 5%. But I really don't care about that because remember, if we buy creative, I'm not buying for equity. I'm buying for cash flow, and I plan on holding this property for the next 30 years potentially, right? The only thing I would do if it appreciates is probably refinance. So typically what do we care about is how much money am I bringing to the table, pay the seller, closing fees, and then if the monthly, as a rental, if the cash flow is super low to where we cannot have vacancy repairs and allocate all those things, where I'm like just breaking even or like maybe even losing money, then I'd rather look at other exit strategies, which is midterms, traveling professionals, those type of things. So it's a little bit higher cash flow, but I have to spend more money in order to design, furnish, blah, blah, blah. Like that property, even though it's a brand new, because of the strategy, which is have to be a midterm, and I look at my midterm comparables, and I have to try to match their designs and stuff to compete. Well, brand new house, but we still have to come in and repaint because the paint doesn't match the designs we're gonna do. Blah blah blah. So anyway, long story short, guess how much I ended up spending? $73,000. So cash to seller, blah blah, all that with closing costs. That was around like $45,000. Plus we're gonna spend $45,000 to design and furnish. So by the time I'm done, I'm all in maybe $80,000, right?
Yeah.
Got it. So let's say every single month I'm making $600 on my cash flow net. Let's say hypothetically. It's gonna take me a lot of years to recoup that. Not only, but I really don't care because my strategy is what? Hold it for the long term. I'm not looking to flip. Does that make sense? But we have like 5 or 6. If I know what the seller's trying to accomplish, I don't have to guess it.
Okay.
Because if I have to guess it, then it's like I'm just, oh, I'll give you $10,000, but maybe 10,000 won't solve her problem.
So let me
you
help
see what I mean?
Let me help you. It's real easy.
Yeah.
So she's not going to entertain anything below $40,000 cash up front. There's no backstory. There's no reason.
Okay.
Our first offer was she wanted 50. But I know there's a margin. There's a margin of discussion. She definitely wants to, payments covered.
Got it.
But
payments meaning
the monthly payments covered. She
Okay.
wants to basically, it's going to be take over the payment.
Oh yeah, well, yeah. That's the office. Yeah, everything. Yep.
Right?
Yeah.
Then, but the other key, which you keep saying 30, and that is not a term option.
30
it's going
meaning
to be 5 years, 4 or 5 years, period. And it's either going to need the balloon at something 4 or 5, because like she wants out of it. She doesn't want to carry a 30-year on this property.
So is 40 to her? Does she have equity after that? Is
Yes.
40 and with some remaining equity? Got it. Okay. So she wants 40 remaining equity. So she wants. When I say 30, I'm talking about we're gonna hold it, but we do balloons all the time. Nobody's gonna hold you a note for 30 years, unless they're Wells Fargo.
Okay.
But so
it's really, and then we can certainly work through the rest of the pieces. But like I think if once you agree on those, and we can, if we came to terms on those initial pieces, because that's it. She's like, I have to have a cash outlay because I'm continuing to carry this property on my credit. I want to be able to make some money off of this, and I want to be able to use it.
So the 40 is just a random number? Why not 30? Is it just random?
Because she said no.
No, I get it, but is it random? Like, why not ask 50, for example?
We did. That's what I said. I said it was.
So is
it
50,
but I'm giving
is the 40 a certain
marketing
percentage? Is she? No, I get it. I'm just trying to understand.
I really probably I didn't really dig into that deep. Like,
Why for?
When,
Okay.
when you're here's the thing, when you're essentially pitching a non-traditional type of financing, and when I know my seller, so they are, two of them are people that they have to be in control of the destiny. And if that is
100%,
it,
100%.
I don't really dig into, well, why? Well, this, because I know she was a firm no on that number. Let's walk away, let's leave it.
Okay.
I'll rent it out myself because I'm getting a million rental calls. I know it's a space that I don't think she wants to dabble in. So
Okay.
that's why we're here today.
What type of loan is in this house?
It's conventional.
Oh, conventional. Okay, what is do you know the interest rate? Roughly?
It's like
8% interest.
I think it's 8.
Yeah, because she just got it, right?
It's a business, yeah.
Yeah, she probably got a.
She has 3 properties.
Is it a DSCR?
Yeah, did she get a DSCR? Do you know, like asset-based loan?
No.
Is on her personal?
Yes, she personally signed for it.
Got it. Okay. So that's what I was saying. Right now, if you take a loan, she just took that loan. I'm assuming this is a new loan, correct? It has to be new with that interest rate.
Probably 6 months a year.
No, it isn't.
Yeah, that's new.
6 months a year because remember, it's business. It's business is higher. It's not that you're talking about personal loan rates.
No. Business, what I call business loans is DSCR loans, meaning the lend based on my LLC and the property income.
I don't think she did.
No, not at all.
So what do you call a business
she
loan?
Did not.
This would be, it'd be an investment.
Because it was not based on
conventional
property
investment
income.
loan.
Conventional
Still
investment.
attaches to you.
Yes.
Okay.
You're usually limited to 4. Unless you get like some Fannie Mae thing, sometimes they'll do home
Got it.
math and get you another 10.
But the 8% right now, if I get a DSCR loan, I'm getting a 7%. So that's still higher than the DSCR. That's what I'm saying.
That's also DSCR. This was never designed to rent. It was basically a better holding pattern
Got it.
than a hard money.
She took that because he wasn't selling them to refinance the hard money. Is that why she did that?
She was going to allow her son to live here.
Oh, got it. Oh, that's what that was the plan. Got it. So what's the monthly with that? What's the monthly with the 8%?
It just ended up being that plan.
And that usually goes wrong.
Yeah.
I don't know why.
And it did.
Every time I hear it.
What was that for family?
I did.
Oh, I
never do it again.
have a plaque in my office that says never rent to family.
Good. It's a great plaque.
Don't do that.
Keep it.
Do you know what's the monthly? Here,
I sent
roughly?
it to him. Did you share that information? Because he's asking me everything I already said.
He's got to hear it.
No, yeah, it's just I don't want to send the
All this stuff is in my head.
I don't want to send the wrong thing. Okay, great. So she wants 40,000. Now, when she say cash out in 5 years, is her remaining equity? So she want to collect a monthly.
No, she wants to be out of this.
She has equity left, right? It's not just if I give her 40, she still has equity, correct? So every month we're paying the mortgage.
402, she owes 249.
Okay, so we're paying the mortgage, plus she has equity. I'm assuming she's getting a monthly on that equity for like her remaining equity. Is there any terms that she brought up for the remaining equity?
No.
Because okay, so the remaining equity, and then in 5 years.
We're not familiar with this model.
Yeah, that's why I want to have the conversation because I can explain.
Becoming familiar with
Exactly.
this model. And the more I hear about this model, I'm getting more nervous about this model. So I'm just going to warn you because it's very different than what we're used to. We're used to traditional sales. So we were trying to look at, because it felt like, so when I sat down and looked, I was like, there's parts of my brain that feels like this is a little bit of a lease purchase. We got to get creative right now.
No, we actually in a time period where that's one of the solutions for the market. But here's the thing: it's not a new concept. It's not it exists since I don't know when. But also here's one thing I want to make clear: I'm not here pitching you. I just want to have a conversation so I can understand better. But also what I'm looking for is future deal opportunity because I'm not focused on this one. This might not be a good fit. Because the same way the seller thinks about, you know what, you got to work for me, we got to think that it works for us. So if I determine, you know what.
Everybody has their own interest.
Exactly. So you understand that, right? So for me, I'm going to sit down and go, okay, she wants 40. What can we do with it? Can we cash flow on this? Blah, blah, right? If those numbers doesn't make sense, I'm just going to follow up. It's not a good fit. So I'm not even talking to you about just this specific property.
I'm with you.
For me, it's really important for whichever agent I deal with for them to understand the concept, but I'm going to explain better on Saturday because then it's way easier for us to work together.
I click, and once things click in my head,
exactly. So
I run, and I just literally, and then I can also regurgitate
right.
so that people understand. Because my comfort level is going to hit her comfort.
Absolutely.
So what do you think? Because it's funny. It's like she's my client.
Right. For me, I care more if you understand because I'm thinking future business.
Yeah.
I'm not thinking about this property right now. Does that make sense? So I'm not pitching. I'm just trying to understand better. And because also I bring the money, typically there is a lot of backstories that, like I said, I hate shooting in the dark. If I know what the seller is trying to accomplish, I can tailor a solution based on their problem. But if I have to guess it,
that's basically it. The goal here was I want her to have a solution for getting out of this.
Got it.
Out of this listing for sale. And this mortgage.
Got it.
As quickly as possible because I can tell things when the longer homes sit, and I was like, it's sad to even continue dropping this price because that to me it's not always just price. I was like, she is bringing a very solid.
No, this look beautiful, man. This look beautiful.
Product, so I was like, let's look at some other options.
Yeah, but by the way, did you appraise this or no?
Yes, 402.
402, that's fantastic. Okay, so another thing is, and again, I'm not talking about this property. I'm just asking specifically. She said she wanted a balloon, let's say in 5 years or 3 years. It really doesn't matter for the balloon. Does she want a balloon just on the equity or the mortgage as well?
The mortgage.
Okay, do you know why the mortgage?
And it doesn't have to be, she doesn't want to carry it.
What is the fear?
And it doesn't have to be a balloon. She doesn't want to, because in her mind, you don't carry these mortgages forever under these are special creative deals. So we accomplish a goal in a short period of time. It is freeing mentally
Right.
to be able to move on and no longer be encumbered, even if on paper. So let's say you guys take it, it's all straight and gold. At the end of the day, there is still that feeling of I'm encumbered by this property. Wants to move on. We're probably going to run about 3 deals. That is her comfort zone. That's her comfort area, and doesn't want to continue to hold on to this under this circumstance because you are also locking in a price at 384 in an area that is just going. We got on the escalator and we stopped midway right now.
On interest rates.
That's it. And so we already know what's going to happen. Election year, we're going to go. Trust me, it's going to go back.
You think so?
Listen,
I hope so.
6 lenders, everybody is saying it's going to go back. I reactivated 5 buyers.
Oh, for the interest rate?
Yes.
Yeah, listen, we're hoping for the same. We want deals. I'm praying for that.
Remember, financing is getting more creative. Like
Exactly.
this guy's giving, what is he? He's giving $3,000 on it. I got another lender that'll do this house with 1% down.
So,
I got a lender that'll do this house with
who turned this on?
financing. I'm sorry.
Hey, can you return it on? That was.
Yeah, you're fine.
So that's another. But Saturday, since you have more time, that's another misconception about these transactions that I'm gonna break down for you because that's another misconception. But that's one. Second thing, when we buy in this way, if this property appraised for 410, I'm giving you 410. I'm not giving you 480. 380. I'm not giving you 380. If it appraised for 410, I'm giving her that full 402. I'm giving her the full 402. Like I said, I really don't care.
Those things would be, again, what you're hearing from me was someone else's offer.
Yeah, I know. That's what I want to dismantle it because I can tell is either an investor that is.
All we can compare to is what other people.
No, absolutely, absolutely, absolutely. So I can tell because I've done it so much. I can tell when another investor make an offer. I can tell also if they're newer on the creative side. Also, because that tells me that investor haven't done enough creative deals to understand that if you buy in this way, you're really buying the debt. You're not buying the house for equity. I don't care about the equity. We give the sellers their full what the property is worth. So if this property already appraised for 402, that's what you're getting as a purchase price. Now it's just figuring out the terms to where you getting money that put a smile on your face, but I'm also getting a cash on cash return on the money I'm bringing based on my cash flow that makes sense for me. But I'm giving you full appraised value. I'm not discounting you on that because I'm not buying I don't care about the equity. I absolutely do not care on this type of transaction. Does that make sense? You see where it makes sense? And I have more details, but I've overwhelmed you enough today. But I wanted to explain a little bit better.
No, that is.
Does it make a little bit more sense?
No, it makes a little bit more sense. It's just we figured all of these might be a little bit different.
Right.
Everybody's going to have a little different spin.
All right.
And we're just interested to see at the end of the day. I want to look at long term.
Absolutely,
learn
absolutely.
More about what you do.
Yeah.
But like my goal today was to see if for you guys to be able to look, feel,
absolutely,
touch
absolutely.
the property to see if this is going to fit into your wheelhouse.
And I'm sure she's going to smile more with a 402 purchase price than a 380.
Those are things that matter, but they're smart. They're smart because we already feel like, wow, you're going to have to, and you're going to lock in 384.
Right.
And, so I could tell it made her feel a certain type of way.
Of course.
She at least was able to listen.
Of course.
Which is not always where investors are. Like,
no.
Because they control the purse.
Yeah.
So when you control the purse, you like to control.
I'm the same way. I get calls on my rentals. At that point, I put on my red hat. Yep. Like I'm very, okay, what do you want? Yep. That's how we are. That's not a problem at all. So, but also like if I were to flip this house, like if I did this reno, you come in and offer me 380, you insulted me. Like if it appraised for 402 and you want me to carry something, that 402 shouldn't matter. It's like that's the discount is not like unless you see what I mean. So that's how we structure our deals. But I'll explain more on Saturday. Even if this one is not a good fit, I'm looking more like how can we do more deals. And the fix and flips we're interested definitely. So anything you have.
So let's wrap up. What are our next steps?
Our next steps.
I got my next steps on the future. Give me my next steps.
Our next on this one?
Yeah.
Oh, today I'm gonna sit down with him.
So you guys
get
good.
Yeah, and then I'm gonna say, like I said again, for the paperwork.
Yep.
Remember, paperwork is just instructions for title. title is really who draft the legal paperwork that will get recorded. All use attorneys. So if you have an attorney that understands creative finance transactions, because if you do, then we just use yours. That's one. Secondly, the paperwork. A lot of agents that I work with, they want to use their own and then just add the creative language in it.
Sure.
So we can do it that way. I'm not hung up the paperwork. You can draft it. We're just going to send you the terms that we agree. I'm going to look at it, and I'm going to look at what exit strategy are we thinking. I'm going to look at the potential cash flow.
Okay.
And then I'm going to go, okay, the seller is right now asking 40 grand, but I'm coming in at a higher purchase. So I would potentially negotiate her on that 40 grand if I'm giving her a higher purchase. Okay? And then we're going to probably have a conversation on that balloon, because I do balloon on equity, not on the debt. But she does get a security blanket on the debt, which I'm going to explain better. I don't want to overwhelm you right now. That's one. And I'll tell you the reason why we don't do balloon on the mortgage itself. But it doesn't stop her from qualifying for another loan. She will get all the paperwork she needs for any loan she want to qualify, right? It doesn't mean we're going to keep it forever. Typically, we only refi the house when either the property appreciates, so there is equity, because otherwise lenders won't lend you anyway, or the market interest rate comes down. Then we go ahead, because if not, we will put the property on the water. You see what I mean? So we're going to go through this is why I hate just sending blank offers, because I cannot explain this in a paperwork.
No, it's a process.
Exactly. I can tell you typically it takes me 5 to 6 calls with an agent and a seller before we get to, you see what I mean? Like we talk about it, you process it, you come back with questions and concerns, and which is, because this is a long-term relationship. When you sell this way, it's like getting into a marriage. So you want to date first, then you get married. So with that being said, I never do that. They know it. I'm against just draft the paperwork and send somebody, because like you discuss things, they process it, they come back with, especially when it's new concept, you want them to be fully in, because if they're fully in, then they'll help you be successful in the back end. You see what I mean? So that's how I do my stuff.
Every deal tell a story.
Exactly. Okay?
You are not.
And I appreciate you listening to me. I know I talk a lot, but
we appreciate
this is
it.
good.